rise to the top or get left in the dust. I always keep my options open. Keep your wits about you.
Me.
But I will grant none.
Crush them!
vow is to serve. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Running binaric override. Request approved. Request denied. Successfully terminated. Running binaric override.
Will endure.
Out my way!
I'm here, maggot!
Hold on!
Ruby flushes up. Don't give me. Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act. Faith without deeds is worthless. Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands, I act. Guided by faith. I'll do it. Eradicated. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Let's make it quick. Let's get to it.
Messiah condemns you.
Who, if not me? on it. I'll make it happen. It's as good as done. I'll see to it personally.
High momentum.
A tactically sound approach. Victory is imminent. I will do my duty. Indeed.
Let's get to it.
Just a minor setback.
Here we go.
Negligible.
Time to slow.
If I may. I am a navigator. Another foe painted black. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave! I'll do it. Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands, I act.
You've got a problem. Never quite fair. Am I getting paid for this?
Venerate you, machine spirit. The scriptural prognosis is favorable. Cogitation fails. Running binaric override.
Tell me, and it is done. Don't get too cocky.
Be careful not to cross my gaze.
A moving target lives longer.
Heavy is the tread of his faithful. The Omniscient knows, comprehends all. My vow is to serve. Request approved.
Scared yet?
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Let's get to it.
Show me what you've got.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Faith without deeds is... As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
Who, if not me? On it. I'll see to it personally.
High momentum.
I've suffered worse. At your beck and call. No matter the cost. My place is at the fore. Just a minor setback.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? Granted I will grace, at least. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. As duty demands. If I may.
It's as good as your end was inevitable.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
I know what I'm doing, usually. You've got a problem, I've got a prize. How about no? I can do that with the right incentive. Don't get too cocky.
Activate calculated fury algorithm. Running binary override. The sorting function successfully terminated.
Always keep your eye on the prize. Let us not dawdle.
Pay attention.
I always have a backup plan. Is there money to be made? Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Lord Captain. Lord Captain.
To what do I owe this visit? Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh, sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch. After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me. If I knew, I would have told you. Hearing things clearly requires cooperation from the other person, you know. But that cobra just hisses and spits its venom at me. I don't trust her one bit. Oh yeah, you go ahead and tell her the wicked Psyker has divined something about her. She'll be so pleased and grateful, and of course she'll listen to what you have to say. No, that would be pointless. And anyway, I'm not even sure what it all means. Maybe the danger is to her, or maybe the danger's coming from her. Me? Not a clue, Lord Captain. I don't know who Lady Theodora would have told about a thing like that, but it definitely wasn't me. Why would you whisper that to me now? Why? Lord Captain, I don't know anything about caches or Lady Theodora's secrets, but the voices have just reminded me about something. I was once given the chance to try some real wine. Lady Theodora gave me some. Not just any old synthetic booze, but her favorite plonk. She always drank it in her palace. It was golden in color, and its name was Flame of Purity. A silly name, but the flavor was so intense and like nothing I'd ever tasted before or since. Apologies. It's probably not important, but I don't know anything more than that. Of course. Always at your service, whenever you need me.
Domin. May the
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherin. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherin. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted? Oh, Sherin, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone. May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored without our little talk, Shireen? No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqin Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago. The Keronis Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Shireen. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Keronis Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really. Here, hard work pays off, unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing. I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I? I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life. Consider it a mark of my trade. This year, Xenos. Dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amasacus after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic ashmag attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune. I learned my lesson and started taking the longer way around. Except I haven't had any big windfalls since. All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago. All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. The dark side is the real Keronis Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen? Dynastiers drink with criminals. Rogue traders strike deals with the Casbalica. And dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content. An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. Cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Keronis Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, They are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on Footfall is a Kasbalican. But that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Kasbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Kasbalika is generous to its customers, if you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case... What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a rogue trader and the mastermind of the Kasbalika. It's not hard to do on Footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people, and it only took a few successful contracts for the Kasbalika to take notice. I quickly settled on Footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty. It really is simple, Shireen. The Kasbalika runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Kasbalikan agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Coronis Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman. Why not? The decision is yours, Shireen. My trade means knowing the right people and non-people. Having the right connections and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum in the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how much they charge for any particular curio at the Footfall market. Not even the most cunning Aji will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too, if your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean. I have no doubt you will have to deal with Xenos sooner or later. When that time comes, Shireen, you will thank the Exalted One for sending me to stand at your side. Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, fundi, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction. Compared to the rabble on Footfall, perhaps. Compared to you... Be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladaya. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough. You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on Footfall. Well, I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Shireen. I do not want that. Do I trust the Trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine. On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No, they are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Shireen. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves. Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay. A commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos inside. Those Agi are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels. I think we've said all there is to say on this topic. It is difficult not to be aware of the powers that be, especially ones like Lord Captain Theodora. But we never met personally, as the difference between our positions was far too great. Theodora was a mighty ruler, the center of her own universe, and I, a pathetic speck, was nothing next to her. But you were kind to me, Shireen, and in my eyes, that puts you above your esteemed aunt, or whoever she was to you. Or lucky lady, you mean? My heart has been coveted by proud men with hard eyes, gentle maidens with sensual voices, imperious lords and fierce leaders of void brigands. Only rogue traders have not yet featured among Jai Hedari's intimate friends. Why do you ask, Shireen? Oh, Shireen. Then what reason do I have to tell you the truth? Every mystery once solved ceases to excite the interest of an inquiring mind. You are prying at the treasures of my soul, my little secrets. How else can I keep them safe from such a powerful robber as the rogue trader? I dare not refuse you. Oh, Shireen. With a few words, you have managed to make my heart flutter like a songbird caught in the snare of a skilled hunter. You enjoy being with me. Perhaps you even find me amusing? Every girl dreams of hearing that she will make a fine toy and a worthy diversion. I understand. I'm just having a little fun, Shireen. I can't possibly just say, oh, I like you too. Words as dry and dull as a voidsman's dinner. They are unworthy of us. If you are not simply amusing yourself by toying with my feelings, then why not give it a try? Go on. Or, wait. You haven't yet asked how I feel about being your romantic partner. Ask soon, Shireen. I did get a little carried away, Shireen. I'll readily own up to it. I have no doubt that you are a wonderful conversationalist, Shireen. I will make a note of your invitation and make sure to take you up on it when I next get hungry. But if the feelings in your soul have become a fire that is burning you up from within, then you may express them by bestowing a gift upon your humble servant. The language on Ifrit, my home world, is quite different from the one spoken in the Keronis Expanse. We bestow more than one meaning upon each word, allowing our wise men to fully express their sagacious thoughts, and us lowly dabblers, our base passions and desires. Take Aji, for example. That is what I call every piece of scum and villain, because Aji means evil and foe and pathetic worm unworthy of consideration. Or take Ashmak. It means fool and little brother and blind man who stumbled and would fall into a pit without guidance. Shireen means friend and comrade and roommate in a battle formation, like we are. Listen, Shireen, the giver of happiness and the dearest of my friends. I am who I am. A cold trader, a Kaspalican agent, and your partner. We each have a past, and that past is sealed. I'm not prying into your soul, am I? Well, have pity on mine. It has already been gnawed at by the Aji. And if you don't like the sound of that, we'll just go our separate ways. Deal? All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. Oh, I have no doubt you will.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Given the high status of the unit von Valancius and his services rendered to the Adeptus Mechanicus, perhaps a request for special leniency for the unit Jai Hidari, the sentence of oblivion without sabotorization that is stipulated for her crimes, may instead be commuted to immediate redemptive servitude in perpetuus. Then, hypothetically, in time she would be able to compensate for a small portion of the sacrileges she has committed against the Omnissiah. It would be a most generous gift. However, this act of mercy is not advisable, for it is undeserved. The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagos Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma. He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it. This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter, but the blessed Amanat was not afraid. The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected tech priests, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizant's fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen and thematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagos Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
This statement is true. However, I took this step out of loyalty to my mentor. He rejected caution and was leading us to a blasphemous war where he would become the first and most important victim. I did not want to witness his destruction and tried to force him to submit.
I wanted to return to my mentor and share his fate, but the Conclave found me repentant and sent me to the station Altar Templum Calixis X-17, where I was to atone for my previous transgressions.
I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us. I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the Blessed Amanat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain. We were in danger, and I had to go to Rykat Minoris. Assessing his personality is difficult. The spirit of Brother Abel is different from that of most people. Tech comrades of the Cog call such persons quiet ones. He possesses significant intellect, but shuns communication.
So far, I have not been able to determine why Abel summoned me to Rykat Minoris, how he is related to the Blessed Amanat, or why he bears the same name as me. Perhaps the Reverend Abel cannot fully actualize and interpret the available data. I was wrong when I assumed it was the Blessed Archmagos Amanat who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link.
Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the Blessed Amanat. I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened. That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength. It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous.
twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge, strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of Xenos. This bane is called Xenotech. That is a bold hypothesis, and yet the Omnissiah teaches us that a dauntless mind can penetrate any knowledge through analysis, where the ignorant see heresy, the enlightened might see truth. This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral. He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worshipped the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace. Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness, it softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes. The right to witness the miracle of flesh being fused with holy metal is granted only to those who have ascended to the rank of initiate. However, your lofty status of rogue trader allows me to make a partial exception and reveal my sacred stigmata. The Omnissiah has been generous to you too. He has granted you understanding. Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation. Acknowledged. May your labors be effective and fruitful.